Hey, how y'all doing out there? I'm back again with another video. Today, real quick, I just want to talk about which of these phones are going to be my number 2 phone. Now, of course, my number 1 phone is my Note 10 Plus, which I am filming with right now. But which phone out of these 3 will be the number 2 phone in my pocket? Because, I shuffle out my secondary phone every week. But which one is my favorite secondary phone? So let's real quick talk about it. Now, I'm not going to go heavily into the specs because you pretty much already know about these devices, and the specs. I've already done reviews on all 3 of them. You got the Xiaomi 10 Pro, okay? You got the S20 Ultra, and you got the OnePlus 7T Pro. Now, I love absolutely all 3 of these phones. I'm just being honest. But they all have different quirks about them. They all have strengths. They all have weaknesses. But which one for me wins number 2 in my pocket? Now, just quickly, the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro is a beast. I'm just trying to tell you, the cameras on this phone are phenomenal. The speakers on this phone are phenomenal. The software is super fast and smooth. It has 90 hertz refresh rate. The battery life is great. You can get a day and a half. You got 50-watt fast charging. You got 30-watt wireless charging. And you got 10-watt reverse wireless charging. And you get an IR blaster, which means you can control your television. Oh, and 12 gigs of RAM. Okay? And you're getting a full HD plus AMOLED display. Now, of course, you're not getting no IP rating. You're not getting any expandable memory. No headphone jack. Just for the record, none of these 3 has a headphone jack. And also, the 24-bit audio on this phone is absolutely amazing. And the build quality is amazing. Excellent build quality. Excellent weight to it. Has nice thickness to it. Has a gold trim around it. I mean, this phone, I love this phone. You got the Alpine white. You got your cameras back here. They're not humongous and out of control. And you can zoom in. This thing has 50 times zoom. 50 times zoom. Look how flush that camera is compared to the S20 Ultra. 50 times zoom. So that just goes to tell you that your camera don't have to stick out like it does on the S20 Ultra or the Note 20 Ultra to get all that zoom. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all know, most times you're not going to need to zoom in to no 50 times. Come on now. Most people are going to use 5 to 10 times zoom at most. So that's just numbers, and it's ridiculous. You got the always-on display. You got a pretty much an all-display device. You got the little teeny camera cutout at the top. I mean, you got the gold trimming. This thing is a friggin' monster. Okay? Keep in mind also, you're going to get 4 years of software updates. Now, the difference is not Android updates. Now, I'm talking about Google. Okay? It's going to get Android 11, but that's it. But as far as the operating system, Xiaomi's operating system, the Mi UI, they're going to support that software for 4 years and 4 years of security updates. Now, I'm going to do a video on about, are software updates important? Because to me, they are. And there's a reason for that. Now, I know some people don't care about software updates. They like, I don't care. I don't need it. My phone works fine. It works fast. It's fluid. It's all this, all that. But you're missing out on things because of no updates. And I know some people just love a phone so much and it has everything they want. They just don't want to upgrade to anything else that's missing things that they previously had on that device. So I do understand that. I really do. And I'm not saying you're wrong for not wanting, not caring about updates. If you don't care about software updates, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's your decision, and that's how you feel about it. I got no issue with that. All right? But I'll get into that on another video. This phone is absolutely amazing. I mean, this phone is so loaded. It has so many features. It has so many customizations and things you could do in the software. It's super fast. It's super smooth. It's a beast. I'm just trying to tell you. And of course, you got the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. This is a great phone as well. It's a heavy phone. They actually almost run neck and neck when it comes to weight. Now, to me, the Xiaomi actually feels a little more heavier than the S20 Ultra, and then don't figure, because this is a big, giant, heavy phone. It really is. I mean, it's 6.9 inches, dynamic AMOLED Infinity O display. It has a very little teeny cutout at the top. This thing has a whopping 5,000 milliamp battery. The cameras on here are great. You got the 100 times space zoom, which is overrated, because anything over 20 times zoom looks like crap. So I'm just letting you know. But other than that, the cameras are great. Now I did say the cameras on here are great too, and they offer a lot as far as modes are concerned. And of course, Samsung always gives you everything but the kitchen sink when it comes to modes. So this thing is loaded down with different shooting modes and things like that. 6.9 inch display, got a 5,000 milliamp battery. You got IP68 water dust resistance. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to mention with the Xiaomi really quick. I'm sorry. 512 gigs of internal storage. Okay. 512 gigs of internal storage. They do have a 256 model as well, but they don't have 128. With the Samsung, you're only getting 128 gigs on the standard model. Now, there is a 512, but you're going to have to pay $200 more for that. This is the one where it starts at, and it starts at 128 gigs, which I always had an issue with. I don't like that, especially because this phone costs $1,400. 128 gigs is a joke. Absolute joke. All right. Now, as far as the things I love about this phone, the build quality on this device is excellent. Has a glossy back, it's a fingerprint magnet, but it's very, very premium. It has rounded corners, so it's extremely comfortable to hold in the hand. Now, if I had to decide which one has the best build quality, it's even. Only edge I'll give to the S20 Ultra is that it's not slippery. The Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro is very slippery without a case. So I would not use this phone without a case. I just wouldn't. Okay, I would in the house, in my bedroom where there's a carpet on the floor, but outside, no way, because it would slip out of my hands and fall on the ground and shatter. No, but this one, I wouldn't worry about dropping it because it has a glossy back, but it has nice grip. Like, it's not slippery. Now, that's odd because Samsung usually always makes slippery phones. You know, when they started doing the glass backs, all their phones are super slippery. Even my Note 10 Plus is slippery without a case. But this one is not. It really isn't. It's very easily grippable and it's very comfortable in the hand. Now, it does have some good weight to it, like I was saying before. This phone has 120 hertz refresh rate. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, there's no big difference between 90 hertz and 120. It's not. But between 60 and 90 or 60 and 120, yes, you can definitely tell the difference, but not between 90 and 120. Those are just numbers, okay? All right. The display on here is definitely the best display because it's made by Samsung. Samsung makes the best displays. You're also getting 12 gigs of RAM. And I have to say this because I'm being honest, I'm not going to be biased. The RAM management on the S20 Ultra is better than the RAM management on the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. It just is. Okay? This holds so many apps open running in the background, and it keeps them open for days. And I could go back all the way back and pick up right where I left off. You're not doing that with the Xiaomi. The Xiaomi don't even keep that many open. I don't know why, because it has 12 gigs. And then when I go back to something, it automatically refreshes. I don't like that. So that's something they definitely need to improve on. Okay? The 12 gigs of RAM here is the truth. This thing is packed with all kind of features. This thing has wireless DeX. I mean, that's something that the Xiaomi don't have. Now, I know everybody don't care about that, but once you use DeX, you'll understand, okay? But it does have it, okay? Also, this does not shoot 4K video on the front camera at 60 frames per second. This one does. All right? The speakers on this are amazing. The speakers on here are louder than the Xiaomi's, but the Xiaomi overall sound quality is better than the S20 Ultra. But these are definitely louder. All right. Now you do have 25-watt super fast charging, also capable of 45-watt fast charging. But the 50-watt charging on the Xiaomi is superior to that of the 45-watt charging on this. Of course, this only has, I believe, 15-watt fast wireless charging and 9-watt reverse wireless charging. All are faster on the Xiaomi. 30-watt wireless charging, 10-watt reverse wireless charging. Okay? All right, so S20 Ultra is a beast. Like I said, I'm not going to name all the features and everything that come with it because there's just so many things. You know, you get great sounding headphones that come in the box, the AKG USB Type-C headphones. Xiaomi don't come with no headphones, but Xiaomi does give you a case in the box. And they give you a dongle. Okay? But no case for a $1,400 phone, which I think is outrageous. $1,400, you can't even give me a case. So I don't like that. But this phone is amazing. Like I said, expandable memory, IP rating. That's something that the Xiaomi don't have. And this thing can definitely go pound for pound when it comes to features, when it comes to the Xiaomi. So I'm telling y'all, this is a really hard choice. Really hard choice, okay? Now, with the OnePlus 7T Pro, this is another phone that's an absolute monster. Now, I know it may not seem like it when I tell you what it's missing, okay? But that don't take away from it being a beast, okay? Now, with this phone, you have no always-on display. You have no expandable memory, okay? You're stuck at 256. You only have 8 gigs of RAM, okay? No headphone jack, but none of them have a headphone jack. But no case came in the box, okay? No, actually, this case actually did come in the box. I'm sorry. So it did come with a case in the box, but no headphones. Okay, no headphones in the box. All right. Also, only 8 gigs of RAM, which I mentioned. The camera, they're not bad, but they don't even compare to the Xiaomi and the Samsung. Not even close. Okay. All right, not even close. No IP rating. Okay. No expandable memory. All right. No wireless charging. All right. Y'all still with me, right? Okay. You do get 30-watt warp charging. You get no reverse wireless charging. So you can already hear right now that these other two phones have way more things going on with them. Now, I know there's people out there that don't care about all of that stuff. They just want a phone where they get a great software experience. You know, it works for their daily tasks like surfing the web, social media, you know, looking at some videos and streaming music and things like that. Just normal daily tasks. And you just want a phone that's going to perform great. And I also failed to mention, so you get, and I did mention this, I'm sorry, 4 years of updates, 3 years finally, Samsung, 3 years of updates on their devices. And of course, OnePlus has been doing 3 years of updates for a while now. So all of these are good as far as software updates. But Xiaomi's going to give you the longest at 4 years. This thing has a Quad HD display. Also, the S20 Ultra does too. I failed to mention that. But you can't use the 120 hertz at Quad HD resolution. So it's almost like not even having it, because if you get this phone, you're going to want to use the 120 hertz. You just are. It makes it so much smoother. Like, it gives you such a smooth software experience. You're not going to want to use Quad HD and go back to 60 hertz. Not for the tech enthusiasts. You're just not going to do that, okay? And also, of course, you got 90 hertz refresh rate on the Xiaomi. On here, you also have 90 hertz refresh rate. But the difference between this one and those two there, 90 hertz refresh rate at Quad HD resolution. Excuse me. So you can use this phone at its highest resolution and use the 90 hertz refresh rate. All right? Now, a lot of people are going to love that. I love that. Okay, the build quality on this is excellent. Now, this is the thinnest phone between the three of these. This phone has good thickness. This phone has good thickness. but this phone is really thin. Okay, it does have a frosted back, which it feels pretty premium, but it's very slippery as well. So I can't use it without a case. Now, you got a 4,500 milliamp battery in the Xiaomi. You got a 5,000 milliamp battery in the S20 Ultra, and you have a 4,085 milliamp battery in the OnePlus 7T Pro. You do have a on-display fingerprint sensor, which I failed to mention. The Xiaomi, you have an in-display fingerprint sensor that has a really, really good animation, but it's not as good as the OnePlus 7T Pro. It's just not. It really isn't. The face unlock on this phone is ridiculous. It's so stupid, so ridiculously fast. The in-display fingerprint sensor on here is better, but it's still not touching the OnePlus 7T Pro. It's not. And the face unlock, even though they improved it a little, is still, that's not even touching the OnePlus 7T Pro. So this phone, the OnePlus 7T Pro, has the best in-display fingerprint sensor I've ever used on a smartphone, and it's neck and neck with Xiaomi as far as the face unlock. But this has a pop-up camera. See it right there? I love that. So with the pop-up camera, what's happening? You're getting all display. No disturbance on your display, no cutout, no notch, no nothing. All display. All right? So that's what separates this phone from both of them. No cutouts at all display. You're also getting dual stereo speakers. So I already talked about how awesome the speakers are on the Xiaomi. Stereo speakers, best sounding speakers I've ever used on any smartphone. S20 Ultra, dual stereo speakers by Dolby Atmos, sound great, nice and loud. And you also have Dolby Atmos speakers on here that sound very good too, but they're not as good. They're not as good as these other two devices, and they're not as loud. The speakers on here do sound good. They have really nice quality sound, but they're not touching these two as far as quality. Okay, that's full stereo sound. They can't compete. I wish they were a little louder. Now, I think the 8 Pro speakers are so much better, but I haven't got a chance to get my hands on that yet. But these speakers are not bad, but they're not as good as these other two. The display on here is absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, I hope it's not too bright. Let me turn it down a little bit. The display on this phone is absolutely awesome. But these two displays are a little bit better. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit. This display is beautiful, though. Quad HD display. 90 hertz is beautiful. Now, let me get to the crux of this. Now, this is, to me, this phone beats out both of these phones. In what area? Performance. Software experience. I'm just trying to tell y'all. I'm not saying it kills these other two phones. But for me, this phone gives me the best software experience on any smartphone I have ever used. And I'm telling you, I've used at least 30 phones. At least, if not more. This is the best. Excuse me. This is the best software experience I've ever had on any device. It is so fast and so buttery smooth. Like, I'm sorry. It matches that of the iPhone, the 11 Pro Max, because I've used that, last year just briefly. Yeah, same experience. Just super buttery smooth and blazing fast. And the 90 hertz refresh rate makes it even better. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The gestures are so intuitive, so smooth. I can't use the gestures on either one of these two phones because I don't know what it is. It's just, I can't explain it. It's just not very intuitive, just not buttery smooth and flawless. It just isn't. Like this one, I could just go in and out of stuff and just, it's no issue at all. Like these, I don't know. Sometimes it just don't want to be, it's not as buttery smooth. It's hard to explain. You just have to experience it with all three to understand what I'm saying. But the software experience on this is absolutely amazing. Now, what I didn't mention, I did mention about the battery on here, a day and a half. You could probably get a day and a half to 2 days out of this if you use it light to medium. But if you're using medium to heavy, you get about maybe a day and a half. But this thing, this is the battery king for me. This phone is a battery monster. Listen to me, y'all. I use this phone off and on for 7 days on one charge. Over 4 hours of on-screen time. Off and on for 7 days. Now, the only one that kind of matches this is my LG V30. That battery life on that phone is ridiculous too. But I'm just talking about among these three, this is the battery king right here. All right, the battery beast. When you don't use this phone, you're not using battery. Can't say that for these two. You just can't. All right. Samsung is probably the worst at standby time. Just bad. They always have been. Maybe one day they'll get better, but they're still pretty horrible when it comes to standby time. Just not good. You know, one time I didn't even use my phone for an hour and I lost like 4%. Like I didn't even turn the screen on and I lost 4%. Like that's ridiculous. Okay, the Xiaomi, it was a little bit better at battery. It still gets me through a day easily. Like most times, depending on how heavy I use my phone, because I use my phones pretty heavy. I mean, really, really heavy. I say on average, I come home with about, at the end of the day, maybe about 30% left. And that's not bad because 30% could easily take me into the next day up until like half that day. So it's still a beast. This one, you're going to use battery whether you use the phone or not. You use it heavy. I've killed this battery in a day. If I take it easy and lay back a little bit, a day and a half. But this thing here, 7 days off and on, 7 days. One time it was 7 days again with almost 6 hours of screen on time. I don't know what OnePlus does with their software, how they optimize it. See, this is why software updates are important, because you want your phone to run better and, you know, be more, have the optimization and the stability to it. I don't know what they do, but this battery on this phone is so ridiculous. Like I absolutely love this device, that screen and that battery life and that software. So I said all that to say this, and like I said, it's hard. It's hard to make a decision because all these phones have their flaws, but they also have so many good things about them. It's hard to make a decision because I love them all and I use them all. But if I had to pick one, if I was forced to pick one, which one would I pick? All right. Oh, okay. All right. Y'all tell me which one y'all think. You know, leave it down in the comments which one y'all think I was going to choose. But for me, the one that I miss the most when it's not in my pocket, and I'm just being honest, y'all, it's going to be the Xiaomi. And I know y'all might be surprised because there's no IP68 water and dust resistance on this. And that is important to me. It don't have it. Okay. It don't have expandable memory. But keep in mind, I got 512 gigs. I'm only getting 128 in this. So that's not really a big deal for me. Okay. Also, both are loaded with features. The battery on this is a little bit bigger, but it doesn't matter. It's about how you optimize it. And the cameras are evenly matched. 100 times zoom, which is irrelevant. 50 times zoom. And the cameras on here are just as good as these. Now, OnePlus 17 Pro can't compete when it comes to the camera between these two phones. And the reason I say I got to go with this is because that 50-watt charging, that 30-watt wireless charger, the build quality, the IR blaster, which I can control my television, the cameras, the software experience, the 4 years of software updates, okay, the display, even though this one's a little bit better, but I do love the display on this phone. The 90 hertz refresh rate, I got that. And the speakers. The speakers on this device are so unbelievable. And the 24-bit audio experience kills both of these phones easily, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with that, but I'm talking about, in my opinion, in my experience, this audio experience is better than these two. So that's the one that's going to be number 2 in my pocket. Then from here, I go to OnePlus. And I know some of you probably thought I was going to go right to the S20 Ultra. No, it's to the OnePlus because I love the battery life on this thing is a absolute monster. I love the display, no camera cutout, all display, and the software experience is second to none in my experience. Now, you're going to get a great software experience on all 3 of these. But for me, OnePlus gives you the best. And even with the 120 hertz and it's super smooth and everything, but the speed of this phone is ridiculous. If you're a person that you're all about speed and fluidity, you want the OnePlus 7T Pro, I'm telling you. But if not, these are 2 good choices. Okay, this is the only one with expandable memory up to 1 terabyte. Neither one of these have IP rating or expandable memory. But like I said, because of the things I said, the build quality, the weight, the charging speeds on the battery, the cameras, the 90 hertz, the 4 years of software updates, the IR blaster. I mean, this phone just has everything except the IP rating and expandable memory, in my opinion. That's about it. That's about all it's missing. That's about all it's meant. Now, I wish it was a little bit wider. Like, I wish it had the same width as the OnePlus 7T Pro, but it doesn't. But, I can live with it. Okay? And it's only missing the 4K 60 frames on the front camera, but that's something you can add with a software update. Just like Samsung had did with the Note 10 Plus, they added 4K at 60 frames on the Note 10 Plus, which I love. Okay? So, that was my decision. That's number 2. The Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G is the number 2 phone that goes into my pocket. All right? But the Note 10 Plus is number 1 that never comes out of my pocket. That always has my number 1 SIM. This one has my number 2 SIM. And I know some people say, well, why do you need 2 phones? And all? Look, I could afford it. It's not super expensive. And having 2 phones have come in handy for me so many times. I couldn't even begin to tell you the different scenarios where having 2 phones work for me. So I need the 2 phones. They work for me. All right. So I do appreciate you all taking the time to view this content. I always try to make it as quick as I can, but sometimes I get to talking about this stuff, and before you know it, so much time has elapsed. So I do apologize if it's just too long. The Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and the OnePlus 7T Pro. Phenomenal devices. You can't go wrong with none of them. All of these phones are great. Okay? Probably can grab this around $400 something now. This one is still a little expensive. You probably can find it for about, I'll say about $800-900, unless you do a trade-in. And this one you could probably find for just under $700. So all of them, all 3 of these are great build quality, great cameras, great audio experience. But the Xiaomi is my number 2 phone that's going to be in my pocket. Now, like I said, I go through all of them. So I'll give this one 2 weeks. I'll give this phone 2 weeks. And I'll give this one 2 weeks in my pocket. But this is the phone I miss the most when I don't have it in my pocket. I just love this phone. All right? So thanks for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate you. And I hope you guys are keeping safe. And I hope you be well. God bless. Peace.